All right, let's talk about one of the most maddening things in football coaching. You know what I'm talking about? Why those set pieces you practiced perfectly all week just completely fall apart on match day. Well, here's the good news. It's not bad luck. It's a problem, and it's a problem you can actually solve. So let's dive in.
Does this hit a little too close to home? You spend hours drilling a really clever corner routine. The players get it, they have it down cold. But then Sunday comes, the pressure's on, and what you get is a complete mess, just a shadow of what you coached. Every single person, coaches, fans, even the players, they know this feeling. It's one of the great frustrations of the game.
But here's the big idea, the mental shift we need to make. This isn't random. It's not just, one of those things. This failure is predictable. And if something is predictable, that means it has causes we can identify, and more importantly, real, practical solutions we can start using right away. Okay, so let's get into our first section, measuring the transfer rate. To stop guessing why things are going wrong, we first need a way to measure how wrong they're going. We have to move past just gut feelings and actually put a number on that gap between Thursday's practice and Sunday's performance. And the key metric we're going to use is called SPTR, which stands for set piece transfer rate. It's a simple idea, but it's really powerful. It's just a ratio measuring how closely the real-life execution on match day mirrors what you drilled in training. It's a direct measurement of how much of your hard work actually transfers when the pressure is on. Now, this is where it gets really interesting, because this gives us some clear benchmarks. This is based on an analysis of over 800 matches from Europe's top 5 leagues, and what they've found is pretty clear. If you get a score above 0.6 here, your routine is probably match-ready. But if you're below 0.50, you're losing more than half of your routine between the training ground and the pitch. The truly elite teams, they're hitting 0.80 or even higher, almost perfect transfer. And that leads us to a really crucial, actionable point. Look, data is useless without a decision. So if your routine is scoring below 0.50, the choice is crystal clear. Trying to force it in a game isn't just a neutral play. It's a wasted opportunity. You either have to abandon it completely or simplify it radically until it can actually be executed reliably. All right, so that brings us to section 2, the 4 hidden causes. We know that our routines are failing, and now we have a way to measure by how much. So let's dig into the why. What are the 4 hidden factors that just systematically tear down even our best laid plans? The first culprit is something we almost always underestimate. It's the sheer, overwhelming noise of a real match. Just think about it for a second. Your training ground? It's quiet, controlled. A stadium on match day? Absolutely not. That little verbal cue, that run now, that works perfectly on a Thursday, it is completely useless when you're surrounded by 60-plus decibels of roaring crowd noise. The solution, though, is brilliantly simple. You have to go nonverbal. A system of pre-agreed hand signals, these channel 4 signals, they just cut right through the chaos. No extra thought needed. Okay, the second hidden cause is something called cognitive overload. The easiest way to think about this is to picture a player's brain like a computer with a very, very limited amount of RAM. And we can actually put a name to this mental workload. It's called CCL, or cognitive code load. Think of it as the total processing power a player needs just to remember and execute all of the team's tactical instructions, everything from pressing triggers to defensive shape and rotations. So here's the problem. If your team's open play tactics are already really complex, if they have a high CCL, then a player's brain is already full. Trying to add a complicated set piece on top of that is like trying to run a brand new demanding program on a computer that's already about to crash. The system just overloads. The only answer? You have to simplify the set piece to lower its demand and free up that precious mental space. Because number 3 is the brutal physical reality of the game itself. Let's be honest. A player in the 70th minute is not the same person, physically or mentally, as the one who is practicing that routine totally fresh on a Thursday afternoon. And the science backs this up. Research shows a player's working memory, their ability to hold information in their head and process it, it just plummets by 40 to 50% when they're fatigued. A tired brain literally cannot handle complex, multi-step instructions. And this is where a beautiful, simple guideline comes in, the rule of 3. A set piece should have no more than 3 moving parts before the ball is in play. 3 key players, 1 clear trigger. That's it. Keep it simple. And finally, the 4th cause. This is the one we so often forget in the quiet of the training ground. You are not playing against mannequins. The other team is actively trying to make you fail.
Look, your opponents have video analysts. They've scouted you, they know what's probably coming, and they're going to position their players to block the exact spaces you want to attack. Now, the natural instinct is to add more complexity to try and outsmart them. But that's a trap. It just increases the cognitive load on your own players. The smarter solution? Have a simple, broken routine protocol. If plan A is blocked, everyone knows the default is a simple play, just to keep possession. No panic, no wasted chances.
So that brings us to section 3. Let's look at how these principles play out in the real world with two very different teams, the Getafe model versus the Bayern model. Both are successful, but one of these paths is far, far more practical for most of us.
On one side, you've got the Bayern or Barcelona model. Their open play tactics are incredibly complex, which means their players have a maximum CCL. Now, they can still pull off complex set pieces, but only because they have world-class, elite players and a massive staff and infrastructure to support it. But on the other side, you have the Getafe model. Their style in open play is simple, direct. Their CCL is near zero, and what that does is free up enormous mental space for their players to execute simple, repeatable routines with an incredibly high transfer rate. For almost every coach out there, the Getafe model is the one you can actually replicate.
Okay, so we've broken down the why these things fail. Let's wrap up with the what. What do you do about it? Here is your new playbook. 3 clear, simple actions you can take with your team this week. Here it is. Your playbook. Number 1, apply the rule of 3. Just go through every single set piece you have, and if it has more than 3 moving parts, simplify it, cut it down. Number 2, go nonverbal. Honestly, this might be the single biggest change you can make for immediate impact. Create a simple system of hand signals today. And third, audit your SPTR. Go back, watch the tape of your last 3 matches, and be brutally honest about which routines are actually working and which ones need to be simplified or just thrown out. So I'll leave you with this final question to think about, because it really gets to the heart of everything we've covered. Is your training preparing players for the quiet calm of practice? Or is it preparing them for the noise, the fatigue, and the intense pressure of a real match? Because the answer to that question will determine your success.